Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and we're doing another weapon customization video, and today's weapon is the Repeating Shotgun. So, you know how this goes. I'm going to show you 5 custom designs that I think all look really nice for the Repeating Shotgun. So if you're a fan of this gun in the game, you'll be able to customize it maybe a lot better than you've currently got it, or maybe you've already got a really great design. If you do, definitely let me know about it down in the comment section below, but I think all these designs are pretty awesome. So, before we dive into the designs, let's just start off with a little bit of historical background information about the real-life gun that this one is based off of. The Repeating Shotgun in Red Dead Online is based on the real-life Winchester Model 1887. This was a lever-action shotgun designed by famous American gun designer John Browning and produced by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. This shotgun was one of the first successful repeating shotguns ever to be manufactured. Its unique lever action, not common in shotguns, was a result of Winchester's other successful long arms, the famous Winchester repeaters. John Browning had suggested a pump-action design but was denied this choice by executives who knew that Winchester was known for excellence in lever-action guns, and wanted their new shotgun to benefit from that reputation. The gun was available in both 10 and 12 gauge models. The standard barrel length was 30 inches, with a 32-inch model available for special order. Later in 1888, they would also offer a 12 gauge model available with a 20-inch barrel. These shotguns were produced between 1887 and 1899, and during this time, approximately 64,855 of them would be produced. During these years and afterwards, this model would be one of the most popular shotguns in the United States and in Europe. They weighed about 8 pounds, with the 12 gauge model holding a maximum of 7 rounds and the 10 gauge holding 6 rounds. These guns were extremely popular with law enforcement, bounty hunters, and stagecoach companies, but were never widely adopted by the US military. So for our first design, we have the Silver Wing, and this one is the one that I currently have equipped on my repeating shotgun, and it's a design that I like quite a lot. So let's just go through all the stuff that makes up this design. So we start with the long barrel, the improved rifling, the improved sights, the wide grain stock, and the cartridge wrap. Then for the varnish, we have the ebony varnish. The wrap is going to be chocolate colored. For the engravings, we're going to be doing the full body Victorian engravings, and we'll put the blued steel metal inlay in them. And then for the metals, it's all nickel plated. So the barrel is nickel plated, the frame is nickel plated, the hammer is nickel plated, the lever is nickel plated, the sight is nickel plated, and the trigger is nickel plated. So the whole thing is just a dark brown and nickel design with a blued steel accent. Now the blued steel could be blued, browned, or blackened steel. It doesn't matter a ton, just as long as it's dark. I like using the blued steel because it is the darkest of the three. But all in all, I love this design. There's a reason it's the one currently equipped on my gun, and it wasn't a cost thing. It's just I really like the way that it looks. Not every gun looks great nickel plated, but I think this one definitely does. So it's a real classic, real sleek design, and it's not flashy in any way, but it still does look decently fancy. So that is the first design. Let's move on to the second one. Alright, and so for design number 2, we have the Bloodletter, and this one is of course a classic red and black design combo. You know, if you're used to watching these videos, you're used to seeing this design because it just looks super good. And I also like the name because this is my favorite shotgun slash weapon in general, just to go for lots and lots of headshots with. So the way that you design this one is the same as before. We're going to want the long barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, wide grain stock, and the cartridge wrap. Then for the design of it, we're going to want to put the Bubinga varnish on the stock, then the scarlet coloring on the wrap. Stick with the same, the Victorian engraving, and we're going to make that the red enameled inlay. And then the metals just look like this. So we have blackened steel for the barrel, blackened steel for the frame, brown steel for the hammer, brown steel for the lever, brown steel for the sight, and brown steel for the trigger, giving it a really nice look. So if you're used to this design, you know that I like to go for that duality between the brown steel and the blackened steel, which contrasts really nicely against the red. And there's basically 2 ways to go. You can either make the stock a more red color, so you use the mesquite varnish or the Bubinga varnish or the cherrywood varnish or something like that, or you can go for a dark one, so you can do dark walnut or ebony. It depends on the gun for me, but with this one, since there's so much metal, I like going with the red look for the varnish, because then I think it contrasts better against the wood. And then of course the scarlet wrap helps a lot. So I love this design. I think it's a classic. It's definitely a bit more on the edgy side, so I can see how it's not for everyone, but I like it. So that is design number 2. Alright, and so for the third design, we have the DTG Classic, and you know we can't make it through a video without going for the classic design. And so this one is just arguably one of the most winning color combinations you can come up with, and that's why why it always makes it into these videos. So you're going to start off with the long barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, wide grain stock. We're going to use the cartridge wrap again. Then for the design, we're going to want to use the mesquite varnish on the stock, then the brick red color for the wrap. We're going to do the full Art Nouveau engraving, and this time with the blued steel inlay. And then the metals are just like this. So we have blued steel for the barrel, gold plated for the frame, blued steel for the hammer, blued steel for the lever, gold plating on the sight, and gold plating on the trigger. So we've got that nice 3-color combination, the red, gold, and blue that I love so very, very much. And this gun is no exception. It looks amazing with this combination. And now, of course, there's various ways to go. You could also make the receiver blued steel. You could do a gold inlay in the engraving instead, but I think this way is just the perfect combination. It's got just a little bit of gold to give it a fancy little accent to it, but it's still very, very subtle, and it still doesn't feel like it's an overstated griefer gun like it would if it was solid gold. And it only costs 18 gold bars. So it's a solid design, looks amazing, doesn't cost a ton, and, you know, never really gets old. So that's design number 3. Let's move on to design number 4. All right, and so for the 4th design, we of course have the factory finish. So this gun is going to be pretty dang close, if you do it like this, to looking like these guns would have looked stock out of the store or out of the factory back in the day. So the way that you get this is you actually got to go down to the short barrel, because the longer barrel was actually not the stock option. It was an option you could go with, but the shorter barrel was standard. Then, of course, improved rifling, improved sights. We're going to stick with the wide grain stock. This time we're not going to have a wrap on it. The varnish on the stock should be mahogany, and there's going to be no carvings into the stock and no engravings in the gun. And then the metal should look just like this. So we're going to do blackened steel for the barrel, blackened steel for the frame, iron for the hammer, blackened steel for the lever, iron for the sight, and iron for the trigger, making this one a decently cheap design at only 9 gold bars. And again, you really can't beat that classic look. It just looks so nice. A lot of people really like going for the flashy looks, but there's a lot of people out there, myself included, who prefer a more subtle look. And if you're going for subtle, you really can't beat the factory finish for the repeating shotgun. It looks so good. That dark mahogany varnish contrasting against the black and steel with, I guess you could call the iron parts acting as accents, but not really since they're so small. And of course, that's just how they looked in real life. Honestly, the gun looks amazing like this. If I was going to change it off of the one I currently had, and I didn't want to do the DTG Classic, I would probably switch it just to the stock look, because it looks so good. I can really see myself riding up on horseback, spin cocking this bad guy, and taking some bounty's head clean off. You know, it just looks real nice for that sort of gruesome action in the Wild West. So that is the factory finish, the 4th design, and now let's move on to the 5th design. All right, and so for the 5th and final design, we've got what I like to call the brass ram. And for this one, we're going to keep the short barrel, improved rifling, improved sights, wide grain stock, no wrap once again. And then we're going to make the varnish on this one dark walnut. We're going to carve the ram into the stock, so we are going to have a carving on this one. And we're going to once again go with the Victorian engraving, and we're going to do the browned steel inlay in that. Then for the metals, it should look just like this. So we're going to have browned steel for the barrel, brass for the frame, brown steel for the hammer, brass for the lever, brass for the sight, and brown steel for the trigger. And so we have a design that I don't always go with, but on certain guns I really like it. And it's that brass and brown steel. It's basically the more subtle, less flashy version of a DTG Classic or even a griefer gun. So we have that brass, which is the substitute that would typically be gold, and the brown steel, which is a good substitute for either the blackened steel or the blued steel, which are just a lot more dark. So this one offers a more authentic, I guess, feeling gun for maybe, I don't know, the period, even though technically it's not, because the factory finish looks quite a bit different from this. Yeah, I just really, really like this design. It's subtle, but it still looks really, really nice, and the browned accents stand out in just the right way against the brass, so it doesn't look gaudy in any way or even flashy, but looks very nice. So that is the 5th and final design for the repeating shotgun. And so that is where we're going to end this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope if you were looking for a design for your repeating shotgun that this video supplied you with everything that you need for that. Honestly, like I said, I like all of these designs. There's none of them that I think are bad, obviously, or I wouldn't include them in a top 5 designs video. And I think they all look, you know, just sharp and unique. Most people running around with this gun either have it probably the stock design that you buy it with, or have made it solid gold, which I just don't think looks very good on this gun. So if you follow any of these designs, you'll have a better one than most people. With all that in mind, if you found this video to be enjoyable or useful or anything good, definitely go ahead and click that like button. If not, piss off. No, I'm just kidding. If not, I guess click the dislike button. Not that YouTube will know, since they removed the, dislike account. But with all that in mind, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, concerns, suggestions, recommendations for future videos, whatever, go down to the comment section below and leave all of those there. I'll do my best to read them, respond to them, and possibly, do whatever you need. If you're looking for a specific video and it's in my power to make it, I probably will. And of course, lastly, if you haven't already and you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel today and turn on the notification bell. It's the only way that you'll ever see content from me, since YouTube really doesn't like recommending it. And of course, it helps the channel grow, which is immensely useful. So with all that in mind, thanks a ton for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.